Every great product, every game changer, it all starts with just a single sentence, right? A little spark of an idea. But how do you keep that spark from fizzling out into a total mess of missed deadlines and a super confused team? Well, today we're going to break down how you master that chaotic journey, from just an idea all the way to a finished product. It's the question every single team wrestles with. How do you take that one-liner, that "what if we did this," and actually turn it into a real, tangible thing? It might seem like some kind of magic trick, but it's really not. It's all about having a disciplined process and, of course, the right tools to bring some order to that chaos. Because, let's be honest, big ideas are messy. They're chaotic. They create this storm of feature requests, priorities that are constantly shifting, and a team just scrambling to keep up. If you don't have a solid system in place, you're not just lost, you're basically building in the dark. And this is where Agile planning tools are a complete lifesaver. We're going to be looking at how a tool like Azure Boards gives you a framework to tame that chaos. It's all about creating one single source of truth so you can plan, manage, and track everything and make sure everyone is pulling in the exact same direction. So, where do we even begin this journey from total chaos to crystal clarity? Well, you have to start way up high at the 30,000-foot view. In the world of Agile, we call this an epic. An epic is really just a huge chunk of work, something way too big to tackle all at once. The best way to think about it? It's the title of a book. It tells you the theme, the ultimate goal, but all the nitty-gritty details? Yeah, that's for the chapters to figure out. And here we can see that very first step in action. The big idea product training gets logged as Epic 720. Right now, it's just a title, a placeholder for the entire story we're about to build. This is our starting line. Okay, we've got our book title. Now it's time to start outlining the chapters. We have to break this massive idea down into smaller, more digestible pieces that the team can actually get their hands on and build. And that book metaphor, it just keeps working perfectly. If the epic is the title of the book, then a feature is a chapter. It's a self-contained piece of the product that helps tell the bigger story of the epic. And look at this. You can see that parent-child relationship so clearly. Our product training epic is now directly linked to a brand new feature, the training dashboard. We've just written the title for our first chapter, and we're already getting way more specific. But you don't write a chapter in one go, do you? Nope. You write it paragraph by paragraph. In Agile, these paragraphs are called Product Backlog Items, or PBIs for short, and they're often written as what we call user stories. And here are those paragraphs in all their detail. Now notice how they're written from the customer's point of view. As a customer, I want to. This isn't just a small detail. It's a really important shift in thinking. It makes sure we're building something people actually want. This is where the real work truly begins. All right, so we've broken down our big idea into this super detailed to-do list. But a list is pretty useless without a plan of attack, right? That's where sprint planning comes into play. It's how we decide when and how we're going to get all this work done. So what's a sprint? It's just a short, fixed period of time, usually like 1 to 4 weeks, where the team commits to delivering a small, usable piece of the final product. This creates a predictable rhythm, like a steady heartbeat for the whole project. The sprint planning process is pretty methodical. First, the team picks out the user stories they're confident they can finish. Then, they break those stories down into even smaller, more granular tasks. After that, they estimate how long each task will take, and then, and this is the most critical step, they check their plan against reality. See, it all comes down to balancing two key numbers. On one hand, you have team capacity. That's the actual number of hours your team has to work, after you account for meetings, holidays, everything. On the other hand, you have remaining work. That's the total time you've estimated for all the tasks you've planned. The goal is simple. Don't bite off more than you can chew. And here's a perfect little example of that estimation. A single user story gets broken down into 2 tasks. One is add page, which is about 5 hours, and the other is optimize query. That's 3 hours. So the total remaining work for this one story is a nice, clean 8 hours. So once the sprint kicks off, how on earth do you track all these moving parts? You make the work visible. That is the magic of the Kanban board. It turns your entire workflow into this living, breathing dashboard that everyone can see. And this is where the whole process just comes alive. Tasks start over on the left in the new column, and they literally move across the board as they get worked on. That simple act of dragging a card from in progress to done, it gives this powerful, immediate sense of accomplishment and clarity for the whole team. It's awesome. But hey, what if you're not a visual thinker? A good tool has to be flexible, right? Here, we're looking at the exact same information, just presented as a simple list. It's the same data, just a different view, which lets you work in a way that makes the most sense to you. So let's just do a quick recap of this whole journey. We started with a huge idea, our epic. We broke that down into chapters or features, and then into paragraphs, our user stories. We planned the work in these short bursts called sprints, and then we made all our progress visible to everyone with a Kanban board. So there you have it. You've successfully turned that single sentence into a detailed, actionable plan. But let's be real, a plan is just a map. The real journey, the real adventure, begins when the work actually starts. How do you handle all the inevitable detours and roadblocks that pop up along the way? Well, that's the next chapter in mastering this whole thing.
Hi all, in this section of Azure DevOps sections, we'll go through Azure planning and portfolio management. So I'll share this GitHub link into video description so that you can follow this lab. So we are going to complete topics like manage teams, areas, and iterations, manage work items, manage sprint and capacity, customize Kanban boards, define dashboards, customize team process. If you are familiar with Jira dashboards, so ultimately it's doing the same thing here into Azure DevOps. So here I have connected to Azure DevOps organization. Then select the project. Now let's zoom in. Select project settings. And from here you can see that process is like under process there is Scrum options available. Now select that files under repositories. Click on that one. And here down below is the import options. Under import a repository, select that import options. Now paste the URL that we are going to clone and then click on import button. So now importing the cloning repository. So import is successful. So if you look here, you can see all the different required folders and files are underneath this repository. If you look for branches, you can see that there is a branch, main branch. Let's make this main branch as a default branch. So for that, click that more options and click on set as default branch. So let's go back to project settings again. And here you can see that under general sections, there is a Select the Teams tab. There is already, you see that there is a default project. Now we are going to create a new one for this lab. So click New Team. On the Create a New Team pane, give a team name and then click on Create. So when that is done, select the newly created team to view its details. So now the top section, so you can see all the users which is we can assign to the user by default. This is the user that we have created. Now click on iterations and area paths. So here we are going to start defining the schedule and scope of the team. So here you can see that there are different sections. So select on iteration tab and then select iterations. Now here we're going to create few iterations like sprint 1, sprint 2 and sprint 3. Sprint 2 now. And then we're going to get another one, sprint 3. So under this page, now select that sprint 1 options and edit that one. And here we can give start date and end date. So here we are considering for each iteration 3 full work weeks for each sprint. So we have done for sprint 1. Now similarly we are going to do for sprint 2. And now for sprint 3. So this is something you can consider. 2 weeks is a good time for each sprint, but here we are setting up 3 weeks for each sprint. Now sprint setup is done. Now if we go to the top level areas section, and you will see that here automatically generated area with the name matching the name of the team. Now click that ellipsis options or symbol, and here we're going to include sub areas. So after that, sub areas are included. Now we'll set up managing work items. So select on the boards options and work items. Now this work items window, click on plus new work item and go for Epic. Now enter a title for this Epic. So we are giving product training. And if you see that down below that it is mentioned no one selected entry. And here we are going to select the user I have connected. Now next to area entry, you can see that the eShop on web entry. And from the drop down list, select the right one, eShop web. And then you will see that area to eShop on web and eShop web. Select that one. And also you can see the sprint. So select the, for here, we're going to select the sprint 2. When that is done, click on save to finalize changes. But don't close this one yet. Now if you go to the related work section on the lower right side, there you select add link entry, drop down list, and here select new item. You can see two options there, existing and new item. So select new item 1. And on the add link panel in the link type drop down, select child and work wise, work item time drop down, select feature. And give a title here. So we are giving training dashboard. And then click add link to save the child item. Now here training dashboard, you can review all those informations before clicking save and close button. Now in the boards item section, select boards. And in the boards panel, select that eShop web boards entry. So you can see there are a couple of them, actually 4 boards. Select that eShop web board one. And here you see the backlog items, select that options. In the drop down list, select that features option. So which actually allows easy to add task and other works items to these features. So here select the training dashboard feature, and you can see that there is a ellipsis option. Now from this ellipsis option, select that add product backlog item. So here you can see there are many options available, but in this case we are going through product backlog item. So in the text box, in the product backlog item, type as a customer, I want to view new tutorials. Press enter. Then we are going to add two more backlog items. Second one is as a customer, I want to see tutorials I recently viewed. And third one, as a customer, I want to request new tutorials. So when that is done, you can see that there is options view as backlog. So you can select that. So it will show you as a backlog items. Here you can see. Click view as board options. So you can see there's all three items are under new items or new category. So let's move the very first one. As a customer, I want to view new tutorials from the new section to approved section. So for this, you have to drag this item from new section to approved stage. And you can see that there's options which assigned or unassigned or approved, different options you can see from there. Also, if you expand that one, you can assign to someone. So now next, as a customer, I want to see tutorials I recently viewed from the new section or new stage to committed stage. And then third work item, as a customer, I want to request new tutorials from new item section to the done stage. Now you can select view as backlog to display the tabular form. Now here you can see that there is a plus icon which you can add a new task. So here click on add task and give a title for this task. So we are giving add page for most recent tutorials. And you can see that there's options like under detail sections that remaining work text box. So here we are adding value. Type is 5 and then click save and close. Then we are going to repeat them similar for another task, and we are giving this task name optimize data query for most recent tutorials. And okay, previous task I missed to add the activity drop down to put some sections, so let me edit that one. So going to add a field is activity and giving development. Then click OK. Now here we're going to give activity to design and remaining work to 3. And when that is done, click on save and close. So now we will focus on manage sprints and capacity areas. Now select that boards options and then go to sprint section. Select sprints. Now on the taskbar tab of this sprints view, you can see that there are different options available. Like and here on right side, click on view options symbol. And here in the drop down list, here select that work details entry and select sprint 2 as filter. Now here you can see that also options available like to do, in progress, or done. So you see the to do options, and add pages for most recent tutorials. And you can see that unassigned entry. So here you can select the user you want to assign this task. Now to assign that one, select the unassigned options. And here I am going to assign the task to myself. And if you select other way, you can also see that capacity options is available. And in this view, you can select the activity field to development and the capacity per day text box. We're going to give value 1. So here it represents that 1 hour of development work per day. And we can modify this value based on the users available. And you can see that there is options also days off. So currently it was 0 days entry. So it's mainly setting up that someone can be off for a few hours or few days due to some reasons. So here you can select the date, and this date is in the 3 weeks that we can consider for this sprint. So after selecting that one, click on OK button. So we are back to the capacity section or capacity tab of the sprint view. Now click Save Options. Now click on Taskboard button or Taskboard tab of the sprint view. So now if we go to that work details section, you can get like add page for more recent tutorials options here. How much work is left or what the activities so and whom this task has been assigned to. So you can see that there may be some variations, some based on the lab you're doing and based on the lab instructions because of the date range is different. Now here from the configure team settings, uh, cogwheel icon, click that one, and under the settings panel, select the style tab. So here you can see that there are many options available, boards, under boards category and also cards category. So you can see that colors options there also. So you can select tag colors and select that tag color. And here tag data, and for data category I am selecting yellow color. And also see that enabled option is in selected here. Now then you can see that annotations option. You can also see the different annotations options available like task, GitHub, and test. And you can see those are enabled. I'm going to just disable for task and GitHub, and tests, that is also here. You see that that's enabled now. And then click on save button. So here approved section, select that item, and you can see there are 0 comments. So to add comments or add tags, you can select like add tags. If you would like to add some kind of tag, we can put it here like data we have created. So we have just added that one, data tag. Then also the tag yes, and then click save and close. So here you can see that the item under approved has got now text, data, and UX tag there. Now let's go to configure board settings, and this time we are going to create columns here. So select the column types and you can see that add column, select that add column options, then give a column name. We are giving this column name key approved, and we are giving WIP limit text box, we are giving to 1. So it just indicates that work in progress limit of 1 indicates that the only one work item should be in this stage at a time. Now here you can see that column Q approved in between new and approved. Now if you like to move, then um, drag is not working. You have to select ellipsis option, and then you can say move right. Then if you want one more, then we can just select again 2 times, or we can position accordingly here. So now key approved in between committed and done uh, swim lane, if I say, or stage in between these two stages. Now click on save button, and you can see that this board panel, that there is a key approved column is now visible in the Kanban board view. Now drag this column. As a customer, I want to see tutorials I recently viewed. Work item in the committed to QA approved stage. And as a customer, I want to view new tutorials from that item from approved stage to, let's move that to QA approved stage. And move the, like, as a customer, I want to see tutorials I recently view backlog item. And now you can see that it's showing that QA approved 2 by 1 options is there. And it's showing red because it's only allowed 1 for the QA approved. So it was a warning for that red color. So you can move item to committed section, and you can see that it's become normal. So no more red color there. Now let's go like select that icon again, and this time go to columns again, and here we're going to divide two columns, like one column into two. So under QA approved column, so we are going to create a two columns underneath that. So therefore we are going to select split columns into doing and done. And you can see other options is available, and there is a definition of done. So I'm just giving that passes all the test, and then click on save button. So now here you can see now there are two lane, actually swim lane, doing and done under QA approved stage. Now set Coggle icon again, and go back to swim lane section. Click on swim lane, and you can see that there is a add swim lane. Select that one and give a swim lane name. And from the color drop down, select green color or green rectangle. Then click save button to save and close the settings. Now you can see that there is a lane in between. So we can move this item and drag that to from committed work item into QA approved under doing stage. So it's coming that green. If you see that, that is expedited swimlane. So it is actually help to prioritize when QA bandwidth become available. Let's go to the dashboard tab. Then from the upper right hand corner, select that first one, overview one. Select the project. To create a new one, you can select new dashboard. Give a dashboard name. You can see there are two types dashboard. One is team and one is project. And you can select the team and then click on create. Now on the new dashboard pane, click add a widget. And from here on the right side, you can search different types of widgets based on your requirements. So here we are searching for sprint to find the existing widgets. So here we are selecting sprint overview and click add. Now in the rectangle representing the newly added wizard here, and you can set properties. So from this configuration pane, you can just go through or you can update. For here we are just going through the settings and then close. Now we are going to select another widget, which is sprint capacity. I'm going to add that one. And when this done, you can see that set capacity, we can set that up. And then click on done editing. I have added two, so delete first one. Position this second widget. Select configure to see the settings, to assign the team. And click done editing. So from here you can see the capacities. You can define or update the capacity and then save. So this is the dashboard related to the board that we created. So based on my settings here, it's just showing that how many days remaining and how much work has been done. And also see that there is a queries options that you can do that one. Create a new query here. And there are a few conditions that we can modify. And also you can create a new clause here. So select that add new clause and fill column, select area path. And you can select the operator and also value. Drop down list, select the value. And when that is done, click on save. So here give a name. Here we are giving a name web task. And you can see that there is a new folder. So select the shared queries that we are going to use and click OK. So top level you can see that shared queries tab there. Also web tasks tab is also there. There's the option to run queries. Execute that one. And you can see the down below the output. Now there's the result options and also charts options available. So to visualize query results, you can click on new charts, give a chart name, give a group by clause. Also select assign to and then save charts to save the changes. Now from the overview tab, you can see that on right side there is a different options also available. Select the dashboard. You can go to the project if you want. You can see the project tracking options available here. So there are so many widgets available. Based on the requirements. You can um, use these widgets and customize that one. So like chart for work items, click add. And you can drag to put into your right place. So click on configure. give a title. And here is the query option you can select. So the shared queries we did, we are just going to use that one. And then it's coming in group by options. Select that assigned to, and you can see the output here. And click Save button. So you can see that pie chart is showing into the dashboard. So in this lab, we used Azure Boards to perform a number of common Agile planning and portfolio management tasks, including management of team, areas, iterations, work items, sprints, and capacity. Also, customizing Kanban dashboards and defining dashboards. That's all for this lesson.